How did you learn your spoken English? That's the most common question I get since I started making videos. Yeah, I have never set foot outside my native country, and I have never been into a proper training program for English when I was young. So if you like to improve your English, this video is for you. I like to share dozens of methods I have learned English without like anything fancy. They worked for me, so I believe some of the methods will work fine just for you. And let's get into this. Okay, solo practice. This is actually where it all began. My solo English practice underwent these three stages. Stage one, imitating and reciting. I have a habit for years, all the way back to the days of childhood. I like to imitate certain fragments of a video on the internet, but I could only watch a few videos in a week. As you know, Chinese students have very limited access to the internet, to the things online. So I had nothing to do but watch a clip for multiple times so that I could fully remember what was in them. Some clips I still remember well today include a hilarious conversation between a shifu and Detective Carter in the movie Rush Hour 3, the intro of a Smarter Everyday video, and the promotion video of iOS 7. The list goes on and on and on. I suggest you try something like this to kick off your English learning journey in a fun way. When the reciting process, the learning procedure emphasized by a lot of English teachers, is successfully turned into something that is fully spontaneous. It is game-changing. The second thing that I did was to read aloud everything. I actually wouldn't call this a habit because I found that this is a like instinct in pretty much everyone from childhood. And I believe you once did it when you were young. This habit has influenced me all the way. Sometimes I'd even read out loud the English letters with words that I found on someone's t-shirt or outfit, which is a little bit weird, but I try to keep my voice a little bit low so I don't distract others. With a certain amount of original accumulation, I somehow converted this accumulation into something of my own output, and that's how I started self-talk. For a lot of English learners or language learners, self-talk is a useful but hard to practice method because we find it very hard to speak about something, even though it is suggested to do so. So I would say that self-talk only begins when you feel comfortable with your English speaking accumulation. Part 2. Conversation practice. Solo practice daily is good, but I still recommend talking to someone. That works even better than solo practice. Here, I would like to cover some of the methods that I used. I really recommend going out and trying to get yourself a speaking partner. I used to not have this back in middle school or high school because middle school education in China is test-oriented and a lot of time and energy is occupied by practicing with exercises or text papers. But I started to have some partners as I entered college, and I think that college is the prime time for you to practice this habit. Over the years, I have done English speaking with someone virtually or on the ground, and I have a very great time talking to these people. During this process, I made a lot of good friends, which is super good and super cool. So I highly encourage you to start the invitation yourself, asking your friends, asking your teacher, asking for someone, or just something like that, just whatever that fits your scenario. But if you don't have someone to talk to, talking to a machine is also a good idea. Back in the day, I only had Siri on my uncle's iPad. Now, even though my phone is sometimes in Chinese, Siri is always in English. Give me some interesting pages online that make me happy. But Siri is dumber and dumber. But now we have even more stunning things to talk to. We have AI chatbots, which really rock. When you talk about a chatbot, leverage your creativity to chat about something different, like telling a joke, or talking about something romantic, or talking about some stories, or talking about a very stunning experience that you had. Have random conversations with foreigners, whether it is an international student on your campus, or a foreigner that you just meet just around the corner, on a train, on a flight, or on whatever. Despite never setting foot outside of China, I've also had some occasions where I could speak English with foreigners. I remember during a flight in 2024, I had a talk with some Russians. I remember I had a talk with maybe an American on a bullet train back in the day in 2018. The fourth scenario is learning platforms. This is not technically free because some of these learning platforms charge some money. If you like, you can hire someone to help you with English, and that works like very fast and very efficiently. Part 3, finding an English community. I'm not talking about the high-end pricey programs run by elite groups. I mean the simple, accessible activities that you can find in pretty much every school. First, activities organized on campus. I'm talking about a responsible teacher gathering responsible students who meet regularly and polish their English skills. This is different from your English classes where you have a lot of unmotivated students that you have to work around. Back in school, I was on an English debate team and I had a lot of practice along the way. I was also in an English broadcasting club where I got to record my English and post my English speaking out there. The second kind of activities is outside of your campus. If you are studying in a big city, chances are you're going to have a lot of clubs organized by English enthusiasts outside of school because there's always demand and occasions that gather people with the same interest and with the same desire to do something with the same purpose. But the only downside of this type of training is that first of all, you need to commute, of course, and you need to spend some time commuting to a certain place. And at the same time, it often costs some money, but it's still worth trying though. The third scenario, sign up for international events. It is pretty easy. Don't think that this kind of activity have a very high standard and high requirement. It does not. If you like, you can just join it. Because of COVID, I didn't have a lot of opportunities to do international events, but as long as I got something like this, I signed up for it. The final part of getting yourself a community is, well, a big challenge, and that is get yourself into an English contest or competition. I have had several contests, speech contest, a debate contest, a writing contest, an interpreting contest, things like that. Whenever I have a contest like this, I improve a lot because for the preparation of each contest, I have to push myself forward and I have to switch to a beast mode to really practice my English. I want to compete with some other very good, very proficient and very enthusiastic people without falling behind a lot. Joining an English community turned out to be one of the best decisions I have made for my learning. So if you are still hesitating, afraid or unmotivated or waiting for the right time, take this as your sign, step up, step out, and find your English community. It might just change everything for you. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you'll find the methods that I've shared very practical and very helpful. So yeah, this is Shawny English here. I will see you next time. Remember, learning could be happy and happy learning. See you next time.